Summer is about the fire element, and fire is about joy and relationship. It's the spark of connection. It's the warmth of friendship. It's the heat of passion, romance, intimacy. And it's the alchemy of the flame. There's so much that never happens between people if we don't actually connect. And the degree to which we are actually risking the fire of connection is the degree to which we actually will be benefited by the warmth and changed by it. One of my biggest concerns right now is that many of us have lost certain skills during the pandemic. Skills of immediacy and intimacy and fire element type exchange. I actually believe that I've been noticing recently, interacting with people all over the country, that there's less skill at conversation, I think. Not everywhere, but that I notice more of a predisposition to people talking as though they've just switched on the faucet. Kind of until the tank runs out. And then they look at you. And then apparently it's your turn to turn on the faucet and run a monologue until your tank runs out. And I really have the feeling that that wasn't as frequent back in 2018. It still happened. It still happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but that there was conversation had more give and take in it. It happened in shorter units with more reflection in the back and forth. Now, for that to happen, there definitely needs to be more connection. Because connection, like the heart and like the heartbeat, the heart is one of the organs of the fire element. There's an outward part of it of like, hey, and there's also an inward part of it. In every heartbeat, there's the like, here's what I'm telling you about. But there's also a, oh, I am taking to heart what you are saying. And even what you're not saying. A kind of receptivity that allows there something to come in. It's one of the important aspects of connection, not just the outward, but the inward. If all we have is the outward, we turn on a faucet and send it on out, we will not end up feeling warmed in our connections. We may put it on out there, rah, 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 or blah, 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 as may be the case. But it's actually in the listening, not the listening like waiting for my turn, but the listening, the creating of a chamber in the heart for what's coming towards us to actually have a place to dwell. That makes a really big difference. I was speaking recently with a new friend who talks a lot. She talks a lot like a palm tree in a storm. She's very charismatic. She has a lot to say. She's absolutely brilliant and fascinating. So most of the time she's talking and I'm listening. And it's delightful to listen to her. I enjoy it very much. But the other day she said to me, "You're a very good listener." I said, "Thank you." She said, "I think that my listening skills are not very developed. How do I become a better listener?" And what I found myself saying to her is, I think that in order for me to speak, I need to feel a little bit of tenderness from you, that you listen with tenderness. And she said, tenderness? I don't even know if I know about tenderness. I know about fascination. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. You have intelligent fascination, but a little bit of tenderness and a little bit of compassion and a sense of a place on the inside, like a sofa that I could come sit down on. And she said, oh, that feels really, really different. I'm not sure I've been doing that. And I said, yeah, well, that's what I think makes a good listening. That's what would get me sitting on your sofa. And she said, I'm going to have to think about this. And I felt very heard, actually, at that time. And it made me want to have more conversations about having conversations. That, in many ways, is what the upcoming fire reignition workshop is about. The transformation from free-floating anxiety to the rooted flower of joy. A discussion and an experience of, well, what does create a good connection? This is the art of connecting, conversing, relating, exchanging. And I think that it's not obvious anymore. It's not coming automatically anymore. I think we're very out of practice. There's a lot of automatic communication. There's a lot of like functional communication. Oh, we got to, you have to make 3 of them and then put like, right? We're communicating, but we're not actually connecting, so that there isn't exchange of spirit and alchemy of spirit. I think that's a shame for a number of different reasons. One being, what kind of life is it if we never have a chance to blossom like the flowers of summer and allow our true face to come out with others who are showing their true face?